to talk about this possibility, what do Arsenal do? Can Arsenal win the league with these players? As it's an impossible thing for Arsenal. And we're
If
Arsenal.
Arsenal sign Rodrigo, Gyökeres, and Eze, they're favorites.
Exactly. Now comes the second point that I wanted to raise with the chat. Everyone now is still in Arsenal, regardless of what you do. There is no point I'm going to say that you're going to win the league. Everyone is saying, no, you will never win the league. I get it. There is a low possibility that Arsenal didn't do it. But this is exactly the Real Madrid situation. There is a zero chance Arsenal beat Real Madrid. Zero chance. People on Twitter, everywhere in the media, Arsenal are not going to win the league. Man City are ahead of them, even though Man City signed Reinders, Ait Nouri, Shirky, who might not start, and I don't know who else in this window. Arsenal, if they have these players, and by the way, it is reported that Arsenal might get these players, Arsenal should be ahead of City. They finished ahead of them last season. Both teams had injuries. Liverpool are favorites, of course, because they have Mohamed Salah and Van Dijk. But no one wants to actually talk about the possibility that Arsenal signed these players. I don't know why. Why it is okay for us to talk about Isak to Liverpool, but it is not okay for us to talk about Eze, Rodrigo, and Gyökeres to Arsenal, plus Zubimendi, who's done. Why?
It is okay for us to have the conversation, but I just don't think it's a possibility. I really just don't think
Why?
Okay, here's the thing. I think Rodrigo and Gyökeres is possible. I think Eze and Gyökeres is possible. I don't think Eze and Rodrigo is possible. I heard people saying stuff like, "Oh my God, this guy said this and this guy said that," and Eze is gonna play in the 8. Stop with the bullshit scenarios, you guys. Allow people are just making up stuff that just doesn't exist in reality. First of all, it's left-wing position because Arsenal intend on selling Martinelli. I think they're going to keep Trossard for the backup left wing, and they're going to sign one starting left winger. It is a World Cup year, which means Rodrigo wants to start for Brazil, Eze wants to start for England. They both play in the same exact position, which is left wing. I don't think they can sign Rodrigo and Eze at the same time, because you're not going to sign Eze from Palace to sit him on the bench. You're not going to sign Rodrigo from Real Madrid to sit him on the bench. People say right wing, that position is Saka's place. You're obviously not going to sign. And people say Odegaard backup, horse shit. Because Eze is not going to sign for Arsenal to sit on the bench. Eze is a player that wants to start Premier League games. So I think it's either or type scenario. It's either Eze and Gyökeres or Rodrigo and Gyökeres. The one that you mentioned in your monologue, which is Madueke, I think will happen because that's a backup type player. Like if I tell you Madueke will come to Arsenal to play backup right wing, you and Terry are not going to come off mute and go like, no way Madueke will accept being backup. No, he will accept being backup because it's okay. Like he will accept playing in that backup position. People have this false narrative in their mind that Arteta is somehow going to drop Odegaard. No, they're not. And Mo called up the Arsenal fans as well, who are making up like these like just ideal world scenarios where you have a player of Eze's caliber on the bench. That's not possible. Like that's not gonna happen.
But can we have a conversation now?
And Odegaard is Arteta's captain too, so he ain't gonna drop him.
Hold on. Great. Let's have a conversation. Doesn't everyone in the last 2-3 seasons keep criticizing Arsenal Football Club, including myself, why you don't have quality backup? Why only Manchester City are the team that are allowed to have stars or good players to come in and battle for positions? Why is Eze intrigued by the Arsenal project? We all know that
when you say quality backup, name the backup. Name.
What do you mean? Nico Gonzalez, Reinders, Rodri, Kovacic.
No, that's not backup. That's not backup.
That's Gundogan. Okay, five players that battle for 2 positions. 5 players.
Yes. So who's one of the starters guaranteed? Rodri,
guaranteed Rodri.
And Reinders, correct?
What about Nico Gonzalez for 50 million pounds?
Nico Gonzalez is a backup.
Okay, it's a backup for 50 million. So why can't Arsenal sign Eze for 50, 60 million?
Madueke costs 50 million.
They can't tell everyone that comes to Arsenal cannot be the starter. Like it's impossible. Like, that's
I
impossible.
agree, not everyone can be the starter, but there is levels to this. Don't tell me that Eze will sign for Arsenal to sit on the bench. That's not realistic. We have to be objective here. Liverpool won the league last season. Who was on the bench? Curtis Jones, Endo, Chiesa, players like this. These are bench players.
So how is he convinced? So can you explain to me how is David Ornstein saying that deal is different than the Wenger deal? How is he convinced to join Arsenal? It's reported an hour ago.
Okay, he
that
can.
Eze
Okay,
is intrigued.
there's easy answers to this. I think Arsenal have spoken to Eze and have agreed personal terms in case Rodrigo says, "I want to stay at Real Madrid," so they sign Eze. I think Eze is their plan B, not their plan A. I think
Okay,
their
okay.
plan A is Rodrigo. They're waiting for this Club World Cup thing to finish.
We're
As soon as
going
the
in
club,
circles.
yeah, let me answer the question. As soon as the Club World Cup thing finishes, Real Madrid go home to Spain. I think Rodrigo will make a decision then. I want to stay. I want to leave. If he decides he wants to stay, then they're gonna sign Eze left wing.
Okay, we're going in circles. It is reported that Eze is not coming to be a winger. Okay, so that competition that
So
you're
where is he
creating
gonna
with
play
Rodrigo-
then?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
I'm not the
So where
manager.
he gonna start? Where?
I am
Do you know
not
what
the manager.
I want to say?
If you say he's gonna start in the 8, so who's being dropped? Rice,
I don't know.
Zubimendi?
I do not know. Maybe there is another word. Maybe Rice moves to the
I
six
don't think
until Zubimendi gets embedded
Also,
in.
I just want to say one thing, Terry, just before you go. I want to make one statement clear. Arsenal fans in the chat, genuinely, the thing that's so jarring about you, and I saw like on Friday when
He's upset.
Staffy,
He's upset.
when Staffy and Don cooked the fuck out of you both. The problem with you guys is you always listen to the messenger instead of the message because you're fucking idiots sometimes, and you're like you have this us against the world narrative.
Who did Staffy and
There's
Don
people in the chat saying Eze is
They were
not
in
left wing.
Terry.
The literal front three of Crystal Palace this season is Eze, Mateta, and Sar. So Eze played left wing. Go ahead, Terry.
First, I was going to say, who did Staffy and Don cook? Just before I make my point.
The Arsenal fans in the chat.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed the first part that you mentioned. I wanted to know who they cooked. I was on the show and I couldn't work out who they cooked. Look, we'll come to Eze in a minute. So viewers are going to come back to Eze. One thing I want to really agree on with what Mo said is when it comes to Arsenal, and I know I get a lot of stick for being positive about Arsenal. Sometimes I almost feel like I have to be because there's just so much negativity out there anyway. I almost feel like, because I've said that I think it's a mistake to pick Šeško over Gyökeres. I think it's a mistake, and we'll get onto this signing a bit later, to drop more than £25 million on Madueke. I think, I criticize those decisions as an example, but it's never enough for people. But what I always see when it comes to Arsenal and transfers is a very noisy group of people. It may not be a lot of them, but it's very noisy and very loud. And you get 3 stages, which is when they're linked to a good player, Zubimendi. Go back and look at all of these Arsenal fans back in January. PR won't happen. No way. This is nonsense. And it did. When they're linked to bad players, so equally, when outlets like last night, I got a lot of these negative gooners in my DMs. Why did you say we're advancing with Gyökeres? L'Equipe and Sacha Tavernieri said it. I reacted to it. Yeah, but you shouldn't be taking those outlets seriously. Okay, noted. Today, L'Equipe, Arsenal bid for Madueke, same people, fuck you, Arsenal, we're shit. So they're allowed to react to bad news from those outlets, but I'm not allowed to react to potential good news from those outlets. And that's what you see. Every bit of negative news is taken as very probable or the gospel truth. Anything positive for Arsenal is always played down. And then if and when they actually get a lot of the signings they want and need, we know what the next phase of this is going to be. Phase, ironically, a little pun in there. The next phase is, but it doesn't matter anyway because Arteta's shit and he's going to mess it up, which then makes you go, hang on. Then why did you moan for 3 months about whether you're getting the players early, late, or who you were signing? If a manager's going to ruin it anyway, there is zero need for you to comment on the transfers, is there? Because it's not even changed your mind about the potential of your season. And by the way, that isn't all Arsenal fans. That isn't Arsenal fans who like this player just like this one. There is a very loud group of people online when it comes to Arsenal. It doesn't matter what they do. The outlook is always bleak to a point where an Arsenal fan that comes on my shows a lot that said we need 5 or 6 signings. They're tracking towards, 6 or 7 signings. They're tracking towards that kind of number. Some of them are really good. I then started seeing him tweet yesterday and he's like, yeah, well, you know what? Even with Rodrigo, even with Gyökeres, even with Eze, we've got the backups I said we needed, but I'm now looking at it and I just don't like the way we played last year. So I think it's all just going to fall apart anyway. And I just sit there and think you're entitled to that opinion. You really are entitled to that opinion. But at some point, I sort of look at that and think, are you just seeking the negativity here? Are you just seeking to be angry? Are you angry about something else and taking it out on football? It's the lack of objectivity. So I get where you're coming from to that original point, Mo, where no matter what you're talking about, where I disagree with you, though, we haven't even gotten to Eze yet, is when it comes to Isak and Liverpool, that's another one that gets shut down. Newcastle fans do not like that being discussed
Yeah,
on
they start
any
jumping directly.
level.
It's only Newcastle fan, but Arsenal fans say it's possible.
agree.
Chelsea fans say it's possible.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And as I say, what you then get is Terry, but you're saying I can't criticize my club. No, I'm not even telling you how you should and shouldn't feel. I'm just stating that it's for everybody listening to you. It becomes difficult to take you seriously when anything positive is mentioned. It's played down as fake, false, lies, won't happen. Then when it does happen, it's but the other signings are crap, or the manager's going to ruin it anyway. It just becomes difficult to listen, and maybe you don't get taken as seriously because everything is. There's always a way that and rivals. I get why rivals would do it, but even then, for a 40-year-old man, as I nearly am, it's just I see people talk about how good Zubimendi is, how good Eze is, how good Gyökeres is, and they'll sign for Arsenal. By the way, Man United go through this too, so maybe it's why it's like feels like double bubble for me. I don't go, okay, this will be a great show today, or oh, I'm looking forward to watching so and so's podcast later. I can't wait to see how they break this down and talk about the players. And I listen to it for an hour, and suddenly it's everybody rewriting their history on these players and how shit they'll think they'll do. And I sit there and think, really, is this what we're doing as grown men? You know, by the way, women wouldn't do this when they make content. Women would just be honest. It's a man thing. There's something about it. Must be something to do with penis sizes. I don't know. But it's just weird to me, man. It's just something about it where it's like, come on, you've signed Zubimendi. You're really heavily linked to Eze. There's got to be some excitement, some happiness out there. But yeah, I agree with you on that 100%.
Same for Liverpool. Same for Liverpool. We like I would say this. I have done shows and I've watched shows and shows where sometimes or programs on TV where people really didn't believe that Liverpool will win the title again. It doesn't matter what they did. It was believed that Liverpool will not win the Premier League title until they won it, and then they won it again last season. People that say Arsenal will never win the Premier League, I don't know, you're all over yourself, and I don't know what world you live in, because Arsenal might win the Premier League again. It's only the proof is that they were just they were one game away from winning the Premier League. Just 2 years ago, it took Young Min's son missing a chance for them to lose the league. It took a great comeback from Man City or a great game by Foden for you to lose the league. The other thing is a Man United, which is great you mentioned. Oli Watkins today. Everyone laughing at Man United, their son Oli Watkins. You fuckers all liked my fucking Watkins 6 months ago. Just 6 months ago, everyone is saying Oli Watkins is a good striker. He's not that bad. I'm not saying he's Alexander Isak. Everyone is saying Mbuemo, Cunha, and Oli Watkins. Where is that going to get you? Fucking one of the best front lines in the league at the current moment with these three guys. I'm not saying they're the best, but you went from Gyökeres to Oli Watkins. So, okay, if Gyökeres is not on the market, what do you want Man United to do? Like, fuck themselves? Like, don't do anything? Like, just go with Højlund next season? Is that what you want Man United to do? They start with Højlund? But then go now after Oli Watkins. Bro, it's all over Twitter, the banter about Man United signing Watkins. You went through Gyökeres wants Arsenal. Khalas, he's left. Khalas, Man United going to sign Oli Watkins, £40 million. Good signing, good striker, along with Cunha and Mbuemo. It's a good front line for Amram. No, bro, you're not going to do anything. These guys are going to get ruined. All of them at Man United.
Started from the Arsenal fans creating the us against the world narrative last season, when it's like, oh, the PGMOL hate us and the league hate us, and the only reason why we lost the league is because Mo Salah had this many penalties and because David Coote sniffed cocaine, just incapable of actually taking a step back and like, congratulations Liverpool, you're deserved league champions, we'll try again next season. Like, none of that shit happens. The thing is about the players that you're mentioning, even myself, yesterday, I spoke about 6 Arsenal transfer targets. I praised 3 of them, 4 of them, and I criticized 2 of them. The problem is, Arsenal fans are in a position now where they don't want you to criticize the club at all. Like, if I say, Kepa's a shit keeper, he only cost 5 million. Yeah, okay, but I'm not talking about the accountant level. I'm talking about as a goalkeeper, I think he's shit. I'm entitled to that opinion. I don't like the player. I say Norgard is an upgrade on Jorginho, who's some you're gaslighting. I say Eze and Rodrigo, I don't think both of them will sign, but both of them will be amazing signings. No one says anything because you're praising Arsenal. You know, I say Sesko's shit. Some random guy, Boston, or one of these, you know, Arsenal, Wayne, one of these guys who have Arteta's ball so down their throat will come here and go like, oh my God, if Arteta wants Sesko, what do you know? Do you know more than him? Yeah, guess what? I knew more than Klopp when I said we shouldn't sign Nunes. It's okay. No manager is God sent. We're not God sent. We make mistakes as well. We have all had bad takes on this panel. It's okay. It's normal. But we just have to have real conversations. Look, Arsenal now want to win the league. Let's bring this all back to football and forget all the narratives.